You know, our whole goal at Holy Angels is really to get people to understand that our residents are just like them, that they have the same needs, the same likes, the same dislikes. They just need a helping hand.
Holy Angels began about 62 years ago when a baby was born who had severe disabilities, and Sister Patricia, Sister Mercy, welcomed her in and began to take care of her.
Maria Morrow was a unique individual. Of course, she was the very first resident of Holy Angels, and she would often let us know that she was the first resident of Holy Angels. She had a delightful sense of humor, and sometimes I would take her shopping or out to dinner or something, and we never went anywhere that there wasn't one person that didn't know her. Hollywood stars had nothing on her.
In 1982, we began a transition from a custodial model of care to a developmental model of care, which basically meant that we were providing opportunities for children and adults to reach their potential through special education, nursing, physical therapy, and all the things that those children and adults needed to be the best they could be. Our youngest right now is 4 months old and our oldest is 75, and they range in ability to be able to work in competitive employment or to go to school outside of Holy Angels, to children who have such medical needs that they need total round-the-clock nursing care. They also may not be able to walk, talk, or feed themselves, but they have a personality and they have a way to communicate, and very often it's not through words, but it's through looks, it's through touch, and it's through smiles. And I think that many of the people that come in contact with our residents or the people we serve recognize that there's no sin there. You know, they're perfect in their own way, and they may not look perfect, but in their heart, they are perfect.
When I first was introduced to Holy Angels, I was extremely uncomfortable and very nervous because most of them were very fragile medically. Once I was working with the folks who lived here, I saw the person, not the disability. And after that, they stole my heart. And although I had another assignment at the time, a year later I came back and began working here, and that was 32 years ago. The sisters are fond to say, who've known me for a long time, that we couldn't get you to go down to Holy Angels, and now we can't get you out.
I learned about Holy Angels from the birth of my second son. When Stone was first born, he was blue. He wasn't breathing well, and of course they whisked him away. The doctors brought him to the room for us to see afterwards, and they just pointed out that he was struggling to breathe and he had some characteristics of different syndromes. I thought that they could fix whatever was wrong. Well, they came back to me and my husband and told us that Stone was born without a cerebellum. And they never gave us numbers, they never gave us statistics. They just said they had never seen anything like him. So after he was a month old, we were discharged and we came home with hospice care. And we just decided that we were going to live each day as a gift. Well, one day we went down to Cherub's Cafe here in Belmont, where people with disabilities work. They have wonderful job opportunities. And one of my friends actually worked there. She and her husband worked alongside their son, who was a resident at Holy Angels, a supported employee that worked at Cherub's. So that day while we were having lunch, she came over and asked me if she could hold Stone. And I said, well, of course. So she took Stone in her arms and she walked over to the other staff members and she said, everybody look, this is our newest angel. And then all of a sudden everything just fell into place. It dawned on me, he's an angel, he's a Holy Angels. And so I asked her, do you mean he's like your son? And she said, oh, Ann, no, he's much more profound and severe. And I thought, well, then what am I doing trying to take care of him at home? He needs a level of care that I can't provide. When we were living at home with Stone for those 2 months before he came to Holy Angels, I was in a whole world that had been thrown upon me that I didn't ask for, the world of disabilities, and I didn't know how to maneuver it. There were no guidelines, there were no road maps. When Stone was admitted to Holy Angels, all that fell into place, because for the first time in 3 months we were allowed to be a family. We could come to Holy Angels, still participate in Stone's therapies, in his doctor's appointments, but I was not the one that was having to try to figure that out, trying to figure out what specialist he needed to see, who was the best doctor, if they went with our insurance. Holy Angels took care of all that for us. They made sure that he got his medications on time, and the right medications. He lived here till he was 2 years, 2 months, and I tell people it was the best 2 years of my life. It taught me a lot about God's grace and love, and that we all are created in His image and deserve the highest quality of life, no matter how we get here.
You know, Holy Angels is where it all started for me. I was literally left on the doorstep when I was about 3 months old at Holy Angels, and that was 35 years ago. So I'm gonna go ahead and give away my age. I was born with muscular dystrophy, the most severe form of muscular dystrophy, called Burning-Hoffman's disease. It's a neuromuscular disease that it attacks the muscles in the body of the person that is diagnosed with it. It takes someone with a great deal of passion, love, and patience to be able to interact and to care for someone that unfortunately deals with those things.
When I think of the folks that we serve here with disabilities, and to think that maybe they might not have been here because of whatever reason, what the world would miss. We have young ladies and young men who are phenomenal artists. We have a gentleman who is elderly. He can play the piano, the most beautiful you've ever heard. He can't see, can't read a note. All he has to do is hear it, and he can play it. Just because they have a disability does not mean they don't have a personality, they don't have gifts. They have the same gifts that God gave all of us. They just use them in a little bit different way. It's not a dismal place, and it's definitely not a sad place. It's very much filled with love and joy. Lots of laughter. You'll see it all across our campus. And the residents we serve, they are really happy, and the staff are very important in making sure that that happiness happens. And so when I encounter a staff member, a resident, whoever, my heart is seeking their heart, and they are the face of God.
I came to Holy Angels. I was in college and needed a part-time job. So came to Holy Angels and just fell in love with it. Did not mean to stay this long, but I did. You know, a lot of people will say, oh, how you do that? Oh, it must be so sad. I was like, no, it's totally the opposite. You know, they give you so much joy, and you have opportunity to give back to them. You forget about your own, you know, your own selfishness, your own feelings or whatever, your own not feeling good today.
I spent 11 years away from Holy Angels, and I always said to myself, if I ever had the opportunity to go back to work, I would love to work at Holy Angels. And Regina called me up one day and said, Ann, would you be interested? And I said, of course, yes, I would. So I came and I interviewed, and she hired me that day to be the special events coordinator here at Holy Angels. I've been here for 5 years. After a year and a half, I was promoted to the Chief Development Officer. And it's a wonderful opportunity because now I get to raise funds for other families so that there always will be a Holy Angels for other families to look to.
My reason for coming back to Holy Angels, you know, it's my way of giving back. It's my way of showing that I've appreciated what those who cared for me at the time did for me. And now I feel like it's my way and my opportunity to step up and be able to do that for someone else. Some of the things I do, for example, on Wednesdays when I get here, I help with the music programs. Music has always been something I've loved. Music is a passion, a huge passion of mine. I have about 30 songs that I've written, and I've also just recently, a few months ago, I auditioned for America's Got Talent and The Voice. During the summer months, we do something here called the Summer Concert Series, and where we have different local people come in and do like a little mini concert to the residents, because a lot of these residents will never be able to get that experience. They'll never be able to experience that concert setting. So what better way? Get people to come here, bring it to them if they can't go to it. It's a blessing to be able to do that, and using the gifts and talents that I know God has given me.
God is everywhere in this place. It's a ministry. And a lot of people forget that. It's not just a job, it is a ministry. I started here 33 years ago in 1984. And now I actually have 2 daughters who's working here. I have a great niece that is a resident here. And then I have a cousin now that is working here. So Holy Angels is really involved. I'm really involved in Holy Angels. The Holy Angels is involved in my family.
We were looking for a way to give people an opportunity to be employed and to do meaningful work. So we began with the idea of of an art and craft kind of store and a coffee shop, but it morphed into a cafe, a full-blown restaurant, and today we have Cherub's Cafe. It's creating jobs for individuals who have abilities and the ability to work and be employed, and boy, do they like their payday. What we're trying to do is just be part of the community and to let people know that people with disabilities can and do make a difference.
What we discovered was 2 things. One, the folks who were working there, whom we call supported employees, they were making friends with neighbors. They were engaged with them. But secondly, they were so proud of what they were doing. They know when it's payday. They are very proud of the products they make. And we have one young lady who will tell us when you go in, she made it all. The chicken salad, the soups, the desserts, she does it all. And the joy and the self-confidence that they have kind of developed over the years has been wonderful. Since that time, we've opened a cotton candy factory. We had no idea cotton candy was that popular, but our opening day, they were lined up a block away. And the draw was you could spin your own cotton candy. We not only have 25 flavors of cotton candy, who knew that? But we also have nostalgic candy from years gone by. And we have a gentleman, an elderly gentleman, who comes in on a regular basis because he says there is no other place that has that candy that he really likes, that he's been eating since he was a kid.
Holy Angels really has concentrated on what people can do, not what they can't do. And so we decided that we wanted to educate and make people aware of however different a person may be, they still have abilities and they're still able to do things and enjoy life like anybody else would. Here at Holy Angels, God is everywhere. I honestly, and I know that's a bit of a cliche, but God really is here in the work that we do. You know, it's kind of like being here with heaven on earth. If I knew what heaven was, I think it'd be something like Holy Angels.